In a January 15th article from Liberation Times, which I've talked about this Liberation Times before, it has a lot of really good articles about the UFO topic, and you should really check it out if you haven't already. But anyway, I will leave the link for this article. This headline says, former director of national intelligence undermines efforts to downplay unusual UFO cases, claiming that some demonstrate technologies that seem to defy the law of physics. And this was written by Christopher Sharp. He does a really good job. He has a lot of good stuff on here, so definitely check out this site. Anyway, on Sunday, January 15th, 2023, while appearing on Fox News, former United States Director of National Intelligence John Ratcliffe sensationally commented that unidentified anomalous phenomena, or UAP, represent objects that demonstrate technologies that seem to defy the law of physics and capabilities that we don't have as the world's superpower. He added, our role in the federal government is to provide for the common defense, and we can't do that if someone else has technologies that are better than what we have. Ratcliffe's comments were made in response to a question about the United States government's new 2022 annual report on unidentified aerial phenomena, which highlighted 247 new UAP cases since June 2021's preliminary assessment report. There was another 119 reports either discovered or reported late that fell within the original 17-year period, but were not included in the preliminary assessment, according to the report, bringing the total number of additional cases to 366. The 366 number supports claims made by an Office of the Director of National Intelligence source, who provided Daily Mail reporter Josh Boswell with this exact number of additional cases in October 2022, when the UAP report was initially expected. The new report, which was eventually released on 12 January 2023, provides no details on the unusual characteristics demonstrated by UAP, which are included in 171 uncharacterized and unattributed UAP reports. Another 195 cases were initially analyzed and characterized as being unremarkable and attributable perhaps to unmanned aircraft systems, UAS, balloons, or air clutter. However, as stated by the report, initial characterization does not mean positively resolved or unidentified. In other words, the origin and controllers of such objects have not necessarily been identified to 100% certify they do represent UAS, balloons, or air clutter. According to the Daily Mail's ODNI source, the report, as drafted in October 22, glossed over the many intriguing and worrying unexplained cases. There are blank loads of classified videos that are pretty profound and pretty clear. They don't want to talk about this stuff because they really, really don't know what the hell they are. That's the truth. The ODNI source added that there is a compelling video of an object diving into the ocean without making a splash, and Reaper drones observing orbs which fly around before suddenly bolting off. The ODNI source, well, let's just stop here for a second. Anyway, he's getting into these other things that happened, previously. But what's interesting here is the fact what Ratcliffe was stating on Fox News over the weekend is that we don't know what some of these objects defy physics, basically. So see, that's being more forthcoming about this. At least somebody is being more forthcoming. Now, you won't hear this from people like Ronald Moultrie or Susan Goff or however you pronounce her name, right, from the Pentagon. You're not going to hear stuff like that from them because they lie about this all the time. The Pentagon has been lying for over 75 years about this, so they're never going to tell you the truth about what they know. They're going to always downplay the whole UFO business, the UAP business, however you want to refer to it, and publications like the New York Times, Wall Street Journal, Washington Post will play along with them. They won't really investigate this because they're, I don't know if, again, we don't have the answers to what's wrong with the media. Again, like either they're unbelievably stupid, dense, or they're being instructed not to look into this, or lazy. I don't know. Who knows what the real reason is, but they're not looking into it. Anyway, I'm going to continue and go a little bit further in this article. It should also be noted that the object filmed by USS Omaha Oh, actually, excuse me, I went too far ahead there. It says the ODNI source could be referring to one case similar to the spherical-shaped object filmed by USS Omaha on July 15, 2019. The video, released by filmmaker and journalist Jeremy Corbell, shows the object enter into the water without creating an apparent splash. It should be noted that the word splash, which can be heard by crew members in the video, is terminology meaning the object entered into the water. It should also be noted that the object filmed by USS Omaha does exhibit apparent transmedium behavior, transitioning between the atmosphere and a body of water. Puzzlingly, at a recent media roundtable, Undersecretary of Defense Ronald Moultrie denied transmedium activity had been credibly reported, commenting, "We have not, to the best of my knowledge, had any credible reporting that we've been able to analyze of transmedium activity or transmedium objects." Again, let me stop there for a second. That's a gigantic lie told by Ronald Moultrie. The military, Navy, for years has seen transmedium objects. This is a known fact. I mean, there's reports going back all the way into the 40s. There's been people that have stepped forward, talked about this. Actually, some of them have seen it with their own eyes. So again, the Pentagon, Moultrie, they're just lying to the public here again. And again, the media doesn't really question it or understand what's going on, or they never do any kind of investigation into these kind of things. So they're not providing any kind of truth to the public, and the media just lets them get away with it. Anyway, continuing. It says here, both Ratcliffe and the ODNI source, along with Representative Tim Burchett, who on 14th January 2023 claimed UAP represents something else out of this world, have all undermined the latest attempts to downplay the unusual cases documented. The new UAP report's efforts to downplay unusual characteristics echo the messaging of Ronald Moultrie and director of the All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, AARO, Dr. Sean Kirkpatrick, who at the recent media roundtable attempted to attribute unusual and unexplainable cases to sensor phenomenology. However, the new UAP report appeared to undermine this assertion to some extent with the following statement. Continued reporting and robust analysis are providing better fidelity on UAP events, but many cases remain unsolved. Reacting to the new UAP report, Jeremy Corbell spoke to Liberation Times and stated, "The most recent UAP report from the ODNI reassuringly confirms what we already knew, that UAP remain a serious commercial and military aviation safety concern. And with 144 known reports of UAP in 17 years and 247 known reports of UAP in just the last 17 months, with 171 of those cases remaining unresolved, the UAP UFO problem is now more in focus than ever before. Such an exponential increase in fielded reports on behalf of AARO confirms the obvious desire and need for such an office to exist in the first place. Our military aviators, it seems, finally have a legitimate repository in which to submit credible encounters with UAP. And such an exponential increase in reporting only reaffirms the need for such an outlet. It is my hope that such reporting numbers only work to continue to destigmatize the topic in general so we can collectively explore the UFO puzzle with clarity and coordination." I'm just going to stop there. Well, there was one more comment here from John Ratcliffe already. It says, "My concern as the Director of National Intelligence was, if anyone, foreign adversary, regardless of how you define foreign adversary, have technologies that the United States don't have, then we need to find out more about that. Although the report does use the term foreign, this is the only reference to foreign governments, although non-state actors are also referenced as possible operators of UAP. However, Liberation Times understands that Ratcliffe is aware that some UAP are attributable to non-human intelligence. Liberation Times understands that senior Pentagon and intelligence officials within the United States government are now not only aware that some UAP are of non-human origin, but have also uncovered information regarding alleged illegal and secretive UAP retrieval and reverse engineering programs." So I'm just going to stop here. Now, you have to read the rest of this article for yourself, but I'm just going to stop here. It sounds to me that there's going to be some whistleblowers potentially stepping forward that know of these retrieval programs, and the Pentagon's going to have egg all over their face. People like Ronald Moultrie are going to have egg all over their face. They're going to be shown for the liars they are, and it's just sad for them, because this has to break, right? At some point, this has to come to an end, right? This whole cover-up, and it just can't last forever. So at some point, they're going to the truth is gonna come out, and these people are gonna look really terrible. I mean, they should have started coming out 5 years ago after those leaked videos. The Pentagon should have, or whoever's this part of this secret control group, right, should have realized, hey, the writing's on the wall. We need to get this information out. We need to tell the truth. Could just come clean. They could have started coming clean a long time ago. Instead, there's this fight obviously going on between different people within the government. One faction obviously wants to maintain the secret over this, and the other faction is definitely, most certainly, trying to get it out to the public. But it was interesting with regarding to some of the comments that Ratcliffe made over this. Now, of course, Ratcliffe made comments on Fox News saying objects that demonstrate technologies that seem to defy the law of physics and capabilities that we don't have as the world's superpower. I can't talk to you about any potential alien life, so I'll just leave it at that. That was some of the comments he made over the weekend here. And then, of course, the biggest debunker of our age, Mick West, on Twitter talked about this. He said, Ratcliffe was a political appointee to DNI with no real experience. He was a lawyer, politician, and Trump apologist. He served only 8 months. He can't talk to you about potential alien life because he knows nothing confirming it. He's heard some cool stories, though. And then, which was interesting here, John Greenwald from the Black Vaults responded to this saying, can you please provide sourcing or evidence that in the 8 months he was in, you're privy to all classified information that he was or was not briefed on? Thanks in advance. Right? And then Mick West commented back saying, funny. And then John Greenwald stated back to him saying, I wasn't trying to be. You made a definitive statement, so I am just seeking out for justification for making one. And then Mick West responded, it seemed obvious to me that I don't have access to top secret info. Hence, this is my assessment. I could be wrong. What is your assessment? But anyway, I responded to what Mick was doing there. I said, i.e., you're just making stuff up as usual. About 90% of your shtick is issuing proclamations without proof. You painted a false picture, and then when called out on it, you shifted gears to, quote, seemed obvious, end quote, and, quote, I could be wrong, end quote. Yeah, when he gets called out for it, because the guy was lying. Mick West was lying. He's just making stuff up like all debunkers do. All debunkers make stuff up. Mick West, okay, he's only good at sometimes he'll identify something that's somebody takes a picture of, okay, that might be a balloon. Okay, he's good at doing stuff like that. But some objects, like if he doesn't have an explanation, he'll make one up. He'll construct one just to try to, in an effort to try to make himself look smart or great or whatever. And it's just he's part of this problem too. This, again, people like him, when all this all comes out in the wash at some point, right? He's going to look like a total absolute moron. He's basically fooling a lot of people. That's basically what he does. For the most part, for things that he doesn't have answers for, he'll try to come up with something that's absolutely ridiculous and makes no sense. And yet some people will believe it, and that's just how it is. But anyway, I received an email message over the weekend about this, about Mick West. And this was from, I've told you guys before, I have there's a anonymous source that I talk to a lot that has provided some information and insight about this UFO issue to me, and that I've talked about in different podcasts. And, He contacted me, and he was pretty upset about some of the things that Mick West was saying over the weekend. And anyway, by the way, this anonymous source, he's a retired electronics engineer. He worked for the government. He worked for private contractors and for government offices like NASA and the CIA. He's now retired, and he shares information with me. But he sent me this email. It says, I just saw the Mick West interview, and basically the obvious message with gleeful media cooperation was, we don't know what they are, so you can't just assume they're extraterrestrial. They're actually just mylar balloons. Grins and laughter follows. This is like an interview that Mick West had on one of the news stations, so they're just making a joke out of it, like we've been talking about. The news media, for the most part, they're a bunch of morons. In the mainstream media, they're a bunch of idiots, right? They just keep making a joke out of it. It's always, ha 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 ha. That's a mighty big stretch, just about the most desperate and ridiculous argument I can possibly imagine. Truly the last refuge of a guy who's about to lose an argument. I'm disgusted that the media backs this up to get a cheap laugh, but maybe they have other reasons, like a little visit from the CIA. Yeah, again, you have people like Mick West, making statements, lies. You have people like Stephen Greenstreet out there trying to make it look funny. It's not funny. It's not funny at all. These people are just like, again, it's all proclamation. It's all they're going along with whatever the government tells them right now, because it fits their narrative, right? So whatever the Pentagon's saying, oh, we don't know what it is, we don't know. The Pentagon, the secret control group within the Pentagon, a lot of us know this, has been lying for decades. It has to, because somebody's controlling them. I don't know who came up with this. Again, we talked about this before. Who gave them this power? Nobody really knows, but apparently they have this power to keep this information from the public, or you wouldn't have the Congress pass, including that whistleblower language. Again, the media doesn't want to talk about that either, right? They don't want to talk about that. That's not really a big story, really, when it really should be a big story, that they even included whistleblower language like that in that National Defense Authorization Act bill for 2023. But they don't talk about it because, why should they? Because like I said before, they've either been instructed by the Pentagon to say nothing, right? To not really investigate this subject, to stay away from it, to we'll tell you what to say. Pretty much the Pentagon saying that to them. We'll tell you what to say. Either that's happening or they're just really stupid. I mean, it could be that they are just really stupid. And that's true. I mean, some of these people on TV, basically a lot of these people on CNN and Fox, they're reading off scripts. Right, they're reading off a script that's written, but that's put together by a whole bunch of people before the show comes on. It's not really. They already know what they're going to say in advance. They're just a bunch of dummies. They put them on TV. They put them in a suit and tie, and then you just sit there and they read off a script. Blah 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 blah. That's been put together like an hour before by several people. So it's not spontaneous. Like what I'm doing right here, as obviously as you could probably tell, it's spontaneous, right? It's a reaction to a true reaction to what I'm seeing online and what happened over the last few days. But see, these morons in the media, that it's all pre-planned out. And again, if you go against what the ownership or whatever the empire of that, whoever the bosses of that media empire, if you go against what they approve of, then you're fired. Right, that's how it works. So they all have to play this game. They're all real careful. They all act stupid when it comes to UFO. It could be, again, because the people in control of these media companies were told that this is how it needs to be handled. We don't really know, but again, one of the other theories I have, which I really. I have trouble believing it myself, but I do throw it out there every now and then, is that perhaps maybe the aliens are controlling what's being told to the public, which is possible. I mean, if something's a million years more advanced than you are, well, then I guess they could do a lot of things you wouldn't be able to imagine that would be possible, but it's possible. Anyway, so there you have it. It really was, again, this whole thing, there are some people trying to, there's two stories being told here. Basically, you have the story coming from the Pentagon saying we identified all this stuff. A lot of it's just balloons and junk and stuff like that. Well, don't worry about the other half. We'll figure it out over time. It's, they don't talk about extraterrestrials or aliens. They're keeping that part out. But then you have some people like Jeremy Corbell or former official John Ratcliffe stepping up and saying, no, this stuff looks like it could be extraterrestrial. Basically, that's what they're saying. So there's two forces fighting against each other right now, and I guess maybe we'll get to the bottom of it. A lot of people are very happy right now. A lot of people in the UFO community are optimistic that throughout 2023 things are going to happen that's going to make it undeniable, and it will be great if that does happen. I really hope that's what's going to happen. I mean, there's some whistleblowers that have already met with some different congressional committees and talked about this, talked about what they know, and apparently other ones are planning to do so very soon. So it's going to be interesting how 2023 unfolds. It's going to be nice to finally get over this hump. But again, I think what the Pentagon should be doing, and somebody should be right now coming up with a nice long speech to tell go up to a podium, just tell the American people the truth that you were lying for 75 years. We started this lie 75 years ago, and these are the reasons why we've been lying. And this is and now we're telling you the truth, and this is what we've learned. It's as simple as that, right? As somebody who knows there's something already here, I don't care. Like I've said this before. I don't care about the lie. I just want you to finally tell the truth. Then we'll just move on. I'll forget about I think a lot of people will forget about it. The only people who are going to be mad are these idiot morons in the media and these debunkers who right now and for years before have been making fools out of themselves, laughing about it, acting like it's a joke. Because they're the ones who are going to be mad about this, because they're going to look like total idiots when this thing's all said and done.